Good morning, traders. Welcome to Trading Waves Market Weekly Analysis. Right, let's get started, guys. Just the announcements. Our next calls will be starting in the early week in December, or the first week of December. But that does not stop you. You can just still purchase the calls with us, and you will immediately get the recorded version, which will help you to go through the calls before the live one. When we get to the live one, you will be having an idea, and you'll probably having some question that you will have to ask during the live one. But our next course will be in the first week of December. Right, so if you visit our website, you can just go under the pricing or education. That's where you get to choose which plans you would like to have with us. So we normally do start with the befores and afters, or how we traded the markets in the week. So I'm going to refer you guys, I'm not going to be covering those this week, but I'm going to refer you guys that when you go to our YouTube page, the first video there where you're going to learn to is the video where you will see that how the market has performed in a few past weeks and how we have traded them, almost about 12,000 pips that we have been able to trade in the past few weeks. So you can just go and check that out. Right, so for our contact details, you can visit any of the videos that we normally do, especially or during the week. You will see that below that you've got our contact details, our numbers there if you want to reach us on WhatsApp, and you've also got our email address. That's if you wish to or you have any question regarding our services, you can email us there. Below that are our social media pages, Telegram, TradingView website, our website there, and also our Twitter and Facebook page, just in case if you want to know more about our work. So like I've said it, for the befores and afters, you can just watch this video here. This will give you an idea how we forecast the market and what is shared inside the members area here. Right, so before I start with the market analysis, I'm going to take you guys back to the website and let's just look at some of the trade setup that we had there. So if you remember, this is what you get here. So when you click on instruments, I just want to quickly go to some of our trade setup that we had there, so that when I discuss the market and I'm going through them, you will know what I was referring to. So we've got blue box trade setup. So these are the trade setup that we had here. Just to, I'm gonna open this one here. This was a chief yen trade setup. We were just looking at this one here to give us this three-wave move into the blue box and expecting that this was going to drop. So when I go through the market analysis, we will also be checking how did that play out. Again, yeah, this was Euro US dollar here. We were expecting that this was going to be a three-wave move there and expecting this one to drop, but this one was one of those failed trade, but we'll see how what happened after that move there on a Euro US dollar. The very same thing here. Let's have a look at the next one. That was a pound US dollar here. We were expecting that this should, was not convinced at all that pound US dollar was done. So we were looking at this here to be a three-wave move right into the blue box and expecting that this should drop lower. But I will explain that what is expected here, because the market went into the blue box and from there it has already started to drop. So the question will be whether we're going all the way down or there is just a three-wave move. The very same thing, pound yen here, we were looking at this here to be a three-wave move here. It has went as far as deep inside the blue box and it has traded lower. We are somewhere around this area here. So the question will be whether we are going to the downside here or this is still going to be a move to the upside. So these are some of the trade setup that were posted apart from the one that were discussed during our live trading room. Remember that we've got the live trading room every day before the London Open. Now we have started to do the live trading room area because of our members have requested that. So around 8 a.m. South African time, that's when we have our live trading rooms. And we also do our charts update at least twice a day, London Open and also on the New York and Open, and also some more services that we have on our web site. Right, so let's jump straight to it. So with those in mind, those trades setup, when I go through this here, you will see how those have played out. Right, so let's start with the dollar index. The dollar index, we have been looking at this year to have been our wave 3 at this high here. So we have been looking at this to have completed our wave 3, and the expectation is for this one to drop to the down side. So we have been looking at this year to have been a 3-wave move to a downside here. Not yet convincing that this is ready to make a move to the upside. I will still have to see this one here dropping. We have bounced here in a 3-wave moves here. So I would love to see at least a 3-wave move to a downside that is going to complete this wave 4 before this rally to the upside here. So that's what going to be my expectation on a DXY from last week. Against this swing high here, I want to see this one dropping lower. Unless, of course, if this decide to make a move to the upside here and take this high, that will mean our wave 4 has completed there. But this is not yet convincing that it is ready because it is bouncing in a 3-wave move instead of impulsively move to the upside. Very clear on the 1 hourly time frame. The 3-wave move that I'm referring to is this one here to have been a 3-wave move. So I would expect this here to be a 3-wave move. This being an ABC, our W, our wave X. So I'm going to be looking for this wave Y before we can even get a move to the upside on the DXY. So as for Euro US dollar, like I've indicated that the trade setup was somewhere around this area here. We were looking at this year to have been a 3-wave move, but that did not play out as expected. Instead, it went as far as to this level here. This is where we had our invalidation level. So that was a loss there on this trade. So but that does not mean that the direction has changed, looking for a move to the upside. We're still liking the idea that the euro should still drop. But the question is this going to drop from where it is, or we still yet to see another leg to the upside? So just like the DXY, we are looking at this year to have been wave 3, and normally your wave 4 will be coming in around the area of 50 and 61.8. Yes, we've got this nice trend line here where the market has been bouncing off again here. It can just drop from here. There's nothing wrong with that because this has bounced in a 3-wave moves here. But if you look at this leg, not convincing that it is ready to drop. It appears to have also dropped in a 3-wave move. So I would be expecting another 3-wave move. That 3-wave move here, somewhere around this level, will be taking us to the 38.2. If you pull your fibs here, your fibs to this here, this will be around the 38.2. So that's why I'm expecting that my wave 4 might come in. So meaning sometime next week, we should be expecting that we should see this one bouncing, the 3-wave move that is going to be related to this one, this being your WXY that will be completing this wave 4. Then from there, that's what I'm going to be expecting, a move to the up side. Unless, of course, if this continues to drop here, especially take these lows here, then we're going to be looking at this here to have completed our wave 4, and then we're going to be looking for that bearish move to the down side. Right, so as for pound US dollar, yeah, the very same thing. Like I've indicated that we had this one to have been into this blue box here. Now I'm just gonna show you this one here on the 1 hourly time frame, and I'm gonna bring my levels here, like I've shown you when I was doing those befores and afters. So we're looking at this here to be a 3-wave moves here. We're looking at this here to be a 3-wave moves into the blue box. That's where the trade setup is here in the blue box here, and we've got this as a wave 4. When you saw that, now the expectation is that if this is a wave 4, this should still continue with this drop to the down side. But you can see that this has only dropped in what appears to be a 3-wave move, meaning we are very likely that this was just our W here, this being our wave X. We should see this one bouncing in a 3-wave move, something that is going to be related to this one here before the actual drop to the down side. Again here, I'm going to show you this on the website. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to show you this here on the website that if you look at on the weekly time frame, for the pound US dollar here, we have reached to the target that we have been looking for here. So it's still very possible that the 5th wave is already done here. Let's go under the US dollar pairs. Let's go on the weekly here. It is very possible that this might be done with the move to the downside, and it's time for the move or the big move to the up side. But it is negatively correlated to the DXY. So if you're expecting that the DXY should still make a move to the upside, that will mean we are very likely that we should see one more leg. Yeah. Now this has been a forecast since in the March of 13. We were expecting that the pound US dollar was going to drop and come to around these levels here, of which it has taken this all-time low here. Now it is possible that this is the move that we've seen here, move to the upside. It is the start of this move here to the upside. It is very possible that this is going to be a big move up here before the actual drop to the down side. So that's where the help of the indicator comes in. But for now, we're going to take it one wave at a time. If this decides to drop lower here in a three-wave move, it has already been in a three-wave move. I would love to see this one here bounce in a three-wave move. And if we get this here, we are going to be looking for this year to be a buy. Obviously, we will be buying for this three-wave move and equal legs, obviously with the possibility that it can even extend higher. So we will be positioned, even if it means that this is going to be a move all the way up, we will still be positioned there. But because of the positive correlation, pound, euro, US dollar still expected to bounce in a three-wave move and a drop. I would also expect that the pound, US dollar is going to be this three-wave bouncer here before it can even drop or before it can even make that big move to the upside. Right, so let's have a look at the next one here of the US dollar pairs, US dollar chief. This is obviously inversely correlated to the euro US dollar and positively correlated to the DXY. You can see that we are in the correction here. Does not look like it is done yet. I'll still have to see this one giving us a drop, one more leg to the downside. This being a three-wave move here, we can have this one to be a three-wave move up here and still get a drop. Then you have this here as your W here, our wave X, this to be our wave Y before you get the actual move to the upside. Remember that the DXY is still expected to drop, which is positively correlated to US dollar chief. So when we get this drop to the three-wave drop to the downside on the DXY, we are very likely that we will be getting this leg to the downside there as well on the US dollar chief before this move to the upside. Then in this case, they will be in line in terms of the direction. Other than that, if this keeps on extending to the upside, yeah, then watch out for euro US dollar. It might not give you that bounce. It might just keep on dropping to the downside. All right, so let's have a look at the next one here. That will be the Aussie US dollar here. Still liking this one to drop lower here. In the members area, we have been looking at this here to have been this as a triangle here. Not the one of those clear one here, but we're looking at this to continue with this drop. If you watch that video there, you will see that we are still looking at this to be our wave one, obviously in a lower degree. This to be our wave three here. This to have completed our wave four. So we are looking at this one that it should drop for our wave five here, but just be mindful somewhere around this area here, we are going to see this one to be giving us a reaction. Remember that we've got this one to have been our wave one here, our wave two, 5-wave move to our downside, and what will be completing the wave three. Then we should be seeing this one here bouncing a wave four. Before we can even see a move to the down side there, or that correction in a wave four, and then this to be our wave five. So be careful with this one. As much as I'm still looking for a drop here, it would be nice on a lower time frame if you can see this one here in a clear wave move. This could be a wave one or two, you get a three or four and a wave five. Once you see the 5-wave move down here, be mindful, it might be a time for this bigger correction before we see a continuation move to the down side. But other than that, we're still bearish on Aussie US dollar. The very same thing with the New Zealand US dollar. Two pairs are positively correlated, so I will be expecting that this should still continue with the drop to the down side. Again, here, if you look at this on the 1 hour time frame, not the kind of triangle that we like to see, but obviously the market is not going to be that obvious. But if you look at this here, we are very likely that we've had this here to have been a triangle here, like this here being your A here, your wave B, C here, wave D, this to have been your wave E, and this has started to drop here. You will and from here, I'm expecting that this should at least drop in a 5-wave move again, just like New Zealand, like elder US dollar. Be mindful when this completes the 5-wave move to a downside, it must start to give us a bigger correction before we can see a continuation move to the downside. So if you've missed it, to take it from around these levels here, you'll see that on the video here, we were able to trade it from exactly at this peak here. So we've already got about 590 to almost 600 pips here on a US dollar, and we're still liking the idea that this should drop, but because we will be adding on the running position, it's easy for us that we can still look for this adding here. But if you're just coming to sell this one here, be mindful, because we will be protected by the position that we took here. That's why it's easier for that we can look for adding a position somewhere around this area here. As for the indicator, it still tells us that we should be expecting more bearish move to the down side. Right, US dollar CAD, you will see there, we have been looking at this here in the members area that they should have this one making a move to the upside. Yeah, three-wave move. Let me just use a more clear color here. We have been looking at this to be a three-wave move here, three-wave move to the upside, and this to have came down in a five-wave move here. This being your 335, and we have been looking at this here to be a wave 4. Now the question is this ready for a move to the upside? But what we're seeing here is that this is just reacted in a three-wave moves here. So it is very likely that we can still have this one dropping here, and before we can even see that move to the upside. Obviously, this will be my W in a bigger degree, this being my wave X, and this to be our wave Y. Very likely that we might see something similar to this one in terms of size, or this being your W or X here. Your wave Y in terms of size might be something that is related to this one here, unless of course if it's one of those sharp correction being a zigzag, then that will be not related to this one here in terms of size. But very likely here, because this has bounced in a three-wave moves here, does not show that it is ready, or it just reacted at the equal legs. It's either it extends from here. If it extends here, break as far as the 1.618 of this pool here, then that will be meaning that this is ready for a move. But because of the correlation with the DXY, very likely that we see this one more leg up here before the actual move to the upside on US dollar CAD. US dollar JPY, this was our chart of the week here. We were looking at this one. It has been slow, not moved as expected here, but we have been looking at this here that against this swing low here, we're looking at this here to be a three-wave pullback, whether it trade as far as around 56.1.8 of this year, we were looking at this year to be a buy. So now it has traded in this three-wave move. It looks like it is ready for a move to the upside here, as much as it is slow. But do expect it that because of the pairing with the US dollar here, and we're expecting that the DXY should still drop, do expect that this might still just be a three-wave move here, and then we have this as the structure here. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with this here, making this move to the upside because of that pairing with the dollar. Right, as for pound yen here, like I've said it, that we were looking at this here to drop right into the blue box. So it almost came on the other side of the blue box here, and this has started to drop from this high to around these lows here. This is almost about 260 pips to 400 pips a year. But what we're noticing that this is not dropping impulsively here. It has just dropped in what appears to be a three-wave moves here. So you gotta be careful with this one here. You will see that Euro JPY, we have been trading for a move to the upside. Because of that, very likely that this might be not a wave A, instead this being your wave 1 here, your wave 2, this being your wave 3, and this to be your wave 4 here, and then you see this one making this move to the up side. But other than that, if it extends more lower here, then we will be looking at this to be an ABC and expect it to drop to the down side. So, but be careful with this one here. This three-wave bounce here could be telling us that we are in a correction. We should see one more leg to the upside before a deeper correction. As for Euro JPY here, like I've indicated, if you've been following us on our social media page, we have been looking at this year to have been an impulsively move to the upside, this being our wave 1 here. Completed the 5-wave move up here, and we are looking at this year to be a 3-wave move. It has corrected in a 3-wave move, but this is but the question is this enough to be correcting this whole move here? Are we ready for a move to the upside, or are we just going to see this one here bouncing in a 3-wave move, and then we see one more leg to the downside here before the actual move? I would like to see this one giving us a double correction, not because of that, just because I'm expecting that your wave 2 should come in around the area of 50 and 61.8 before we see a move to the up side. But somewhere around this area here, we should see a reaction. Be it take us all the way up here, or it's just going to be a 3-wave move bounce, and then we see another leg before a move to the up side. But we should be seeing a move to the upside on a Euro JPY. Just to show you on a daily time frame, what we are looking at here is this here to complete this three-wave move here. This last leg was a three-wave move here to the upside here. We can look at this to be a three-wave move as our connector. So we like to see this one here to be given us or to complete these three-wave moves here. So that's why on the lower time frame, we're looking at that. Once we get this one to be a WXY structure, then from there, this will be complete. That's when we can start to look for that big bearish move to the downside on Chief Yen. As for Chief Yen, this was a 4-hour time blue box trade setup that we had here. We're looking at this. You remember what I've showed you when I started? We were looking at this to drop exactly on the blue box. This tag, the blue box here. Let me show you in the 1-hourly time frame here. I'm gonna bring back my labels. So this tag, the blue box here, and it started to give us this drop here. This was a three-wave move that we're looking at. Take the blue box, each perfect there, and you'll see this has traded above 300 pips. It has traded about 219 pips before it gave us this pullback here. Now the question whether this is going to drop from where it is, and that's what I would like to see on the Chief Yen. At least if this is going to make a move to the upside, as much as I'm favoring the move to the downside, but if it's going to make a move to the upside, we should at least see this one here. Remember, I'm looking at this to be our wave 1, being our wave 2. We should at least see a 3 and a 4 and a wave 5 in terms of size, something that is going to be related to this one. That's when I can expect that this can make a move to the upside, even though I'm not favoring that. I'm just looking for this one to drop all the way down. But just be mindful that when this comes to the equal legs, we might see a reaction to the up side. All right, so let's have a look at CAD yen here. Right, so Yen, we're looking at this one to drop here, but the question whether this is the drop we've been looking for, very likely that we would see one more leg to the up side. So very likely that this is a drop here that is completed, wave 1, impulsively moved to the upside. This has reacted in a 3-wave move. So I would expect this one here, looking at this here to be an A, B, C structure here. If we can get this one to come around this area here, that's the only time you can look for the move to the down side. That is because of that reaction there, nicely visible on the 1-hourly time frame here. This we thought that this was ready here, but structurally on the members area, we have been trading this here. We've traded this somewhere around this area here, and we're looking at this to drop all the way down. But now this has dropped in a 3-wave moves here. US dollar CAD expected to drop US dollar CAD reacted in a 3-wave move, and we were expecting to go all the way up. Now it started to give us this move here. CAD yen giving us this move here. So very likely that US dollar CAD give us this one more leg down here, and then we see this one here to be giving us this leg, meaning that will be very likely that it's an A here, our B, this to be our C, before we can see a drop to the down side. So that's what I'm going to be expecting on a CAD yen. Right, so back to the 4-hour time frame here. Let's have a look at New Zealand yen. Still liking the idea for this one to drop lower here. Remember that we have been showing you these structures in the past weeks, that this is a 3-wave move to our downside, 3-wave move up here, and we're looking at this to be coming down impulsively here. Somebody could be saying this is a 3-wave move. There's nothing wrong with that. The direction still remain the same. We're just looking at these lows to be taken here. Then from here, we are very likely that we will be seeing a move to the up side. Structurally, this being a 3-wave move WX here, this to be our wave Y. Then from there, we're going to be looking for that move to the upside. So short term, coming weeks, expect this one to drop lower, but do not buy this once it gets around this area here. Wait for the confirmation. Once you get a confirmation, then from there, that's the only time you can look for the buy. The very same thing with an Audi yen here, looking at this one to drop, this one to being a 3, the structure is the same. The 2 pairs are positively correlated. 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up here. So we're looking at this one to be coming down here. Be it this one here, 3-wave, not expecting a move to the upside. We have been looking at this here in the members area. This to have been our wave 1, our wave 2, our wave 3. This to have completed a wave 4. Very likely that we should see a last leg to the downside. I'm not expecting that this might trade as far as taking this low here. Very likely that we can have this one be a running flat corrective structure here, especially if New Zealand yen is going to do that expanding. Then this this one is very likely it's going to be running flat. Then from there, we should be seeing a move to the upside on these 2 yen pairs. Right, so I'm not going to be covering all the pairs, guys. I'm just going to be looking at the one that are interesting. Euro Audi, very likely that this might be a structure that we are looking at here. This being a move here, very likely that this might still give us this one more leg. Check this here before we can get a drop. This being a 3-wave move up here, 3-wave move to a downside, impulsively move to the upside here. So we can get this one, then a structure like this before a drop, but that drop still needs to be confirmed. The very same thing with a Euro New Zealand here. It has traded up here, so this one might start to give us a drop from where it is, but that drop not like an immediately drop. You still have to see this one here giving us this one more leg. Can give us this one more leg here. Then from here around 178, you should see this one starting a drop, but the confirmation needs to be seen. Don't just immediately go and sell this here. Right, so the very same thing. Let's look at EuroCAD. EuroCAD, the forecast is for this one to make a move to the upside here, but you gotta be careful. Last week you saw how we traded over 500 pips here on this one, but if you look at this here now, this appears to have been a move here. A flat corrective structure in the middle here is running, and this to have been a 3-wave move. So very likely that this might start to react to the downside, this being your 3-wave moves here. Be mindful with that one, or be careful if you're still looking for the buys here. This might start to be a drop to the downside on Euro CAD. As for Euro Chief, we're liking the idea for this one to drop lower, but before that, I would like to see this one here to be giving us one more leg up, unless of course if this is going to be a running flat. If this is being a running flat here, there's nothing wrong with this here. Drop lower here, pull back here, then we look for this drop. But other than that, it would be nice if we can have this one to at least take this high here. This being a 335, one here, our wave 2, 3 here. Look at this to be our wave 4. Will be nice if we can get this one to come and take this high here before we can even start to see that bearish move to that down side. As for Europound, liking the idea for this one to make a move to the upside, you have seen that how we have been able to trade this year from around this area of a blue box, about 939 pips to the upside. Now we've had this one to be pulling back here. If you zoom into this, just like the rest of the other pound pairs, this is coming down in what appears to be a 3-wave move. So very likely that we could be having this one here to have already done, and it's time for this move to the upside here. As much as it missed the blue box here with a few points, but there's nothing wrong with that. It might be starting to make a move to the upside. Alternatively, pound US dollar bounces in a 3-wave move, then you can get this one to be a 3-wave bounce here. Then this being your W here, this being your W, your wave X, before we can even get this 3-wave move, before that actual move to the upside on Euro pound. Right. As for the pound pairs, we've been looking at this one here. If you look at this on a daily time frame, in terms of structure here, primarily we have been looking at this here to drop here. We have been looking at this here to have been a 3-wave move. This being a 3-wave move, depending, somebody could look at this as an impulsively move. This to have been a 3-wave move to the upside here. So we have been looking at this to drop all the way down for something that is related to this one here, at least for this to come around these lows here. I'm liking the idea that this should drop from where it is, but you're not going to run away from this here, that this could even be the structure. A 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down here. It has came at the equal legs here. We can get this one to be giving us a move that will come and take these highs here before the actual drop that is going to be related to this one here. Now, when we go on the lower time frame with those structures in mind, you can see that this has only reacted around the equal legs here. So this has bounced up in an equal legs. So B, a 3-wave move to the upside, or be this year being our wave 1. Very like it's still possible that this is our wave 1, our wave 2, and 3 here. You get this one to be our wave 4, and then a move to the upside. But with that structure in mind, that our primary view, you've seen that this has come into the equal legs here exactly, and it's starting to react here. Obviously, it would have been nice if this reacted more impulsively to the downside. So we are very likely that even if this is going to make a move to the upside, I don't think that this is going to make a move to the upside from here. It should bounce in a 3-wave moves here. Then if it bounces in that 3-wave move around this area here, we can start to look for this possibility of a move to the upside, or whether this is going to continue with this drop. But next week, expect that this is going to give us this move. You can look for a short for something that is related to this one. This is about 400 or 350 to 400 pips a year. So if you get this one to pull back here, you can still look for that short of these 300 or 400 pips before you can make a decision that this is dropping or it's going to be a move to the up side. That will be the same as well with the pound New Zealand. We have been looking at this here to drop in our group here, this being a three-wave move to the upside here. Nice divergence that we saw here, and this started to give us this drop. If you look at this here, it's bouncing in a three-wave move. Very likely this is going to make a move to the upside. We cannot run away from this here. This being your wave one, or this can be your wave A here, this being your wave two, or this being your wave B. This drop all the way down, then it becomes your wave three. But if it drop, get a reaction at the equal legs, then this is going to be a wave C, meaning that you will see it move to the up side. But for now, do expect at least something that is going to be related to this one here. Okay, let's go on the 1 hour time frame. It is much clearer there, this being a drop to the downside here, unless of course if the market says I'm giving you an expanding failed corrective structure, I'm gonna make this move to the upside. Yeah, but if you look at this here, this is a reaction in a three-wave move, so very likely that this is just a stand-alone impulsively move, not part of this expanding failed here. So I'll be looking at this here. You can get this one to come around this area to still trade higher here. And if that's the case, one more leg, something that is going to be related to this one, can be seen to the downside before this decide whether it's going to make a move to the upside or it's going to drop to the down side. Right, so pound CAD will be the same as well here, or pound chief rather. We have been looking at this one to make a move to the upside, and you will see that this is coming down correctively here. So we are very likely this being a three-wave move to a downside here. This can even be a running flat. You can still see this one yet being a three-wave moves here. Then let me just draw this one neatly here. Three-wave move to the downside. Or this can, if somebody could say this is a five-wave move here. If that's the case, that will mean we are very likely to see this one to be a five-wave move again here before we can see a move to the up side here. It can even trade up collectively. Three-wave move to the upside, this being your W here. Normally, if this is our wave X connector here, this should come around the 56.8 of this. So expect one more leg down here before we can even look for that move to the upside on pound chi. The very same thing with a pound CAD here. Last week, we have been looking at this to drop. Let me just show you here. We were looking at this to have been into the blue box, and we were looking at this here to drop lower. But the very same thing that we are looking at here, blue box trade setup, this to drop here. This has dropped about from this high to around this area here, over 300 pips. Now the question whether this is going to drop all the way down here, or this is just going to be a three-wave. If it's a three-wave move, that would take us up. Very likely that it can drop as far as around the 50% of this here, but it's not gonna drop straight from here. It can just pull back from here. Three-wave move, it can give us this three-wave bounce here and still give us a three-wave move before it makes the actual move to the down side. But just know that this move here, something should see this one that is going to be related to this one here. And then from there, that's the only time you can look for that possibility of a move to the up side. All right, so jumping straight into the commodity pairs here, you will see that how we traded the cross pairs. I'm going to jump straight into gold. Gold, we're liking the idea for this one to drop from where it is. We have been looking at this one to be a three-wave move here. So as much as this looks correctively here, I won't be surprised if we can get this one to be a one more leg to the upside, but we have been looking at this here to be leg to the downside being our wave one, this being our ABC. Like I've said it, this looks correctly here. I'm not going to be surprised if you do get this one to be a leg up here, then we're going to be looking for this bearish move to the down side here. But there's nothing wrong with this here to trade lower. If it continues with this impulsively move, take this high here, which will be the territory of a wave one, then you can start to look for these pullbacks here and look to short gold to the down side. Does not look complete. The very same thing with our silver here. We have been looking at this one to be our wave for here. This to have been a three-wave move. Remember this, we have been discussing this here, that it was a three-wave move to the upside here. This being a three-wave move down here. This to have been a three-wave move to the upside. This being your W here, your wave X. This to be your wave Y. Wave 4 that we have been looking at here. Now the expectation is for this one to continue with this drop here. If it drops more lower here, then you get an correction around this area here, then you can look for one more leg to the downside. But it is very likely, I'm not just like what we saw on gold. This has been a three-wave move. So one more leg up to take this higher is still very possible before the actual drop to the down side. The very same thing. The very same thing here with silver, rather platinum. Right, so platinum here, the very same thing here. We are looking at this one to have completed this move here, and impulsively move being our wave one. So the correlation between those commodity pairs, this being our wave one here, three-wave move that we've seen here is an expanding flat corrective structure here. I was looking at this here to be this being an A here, wave B, and looking at this to be our wave C. I wanted to see this one more leg up here. So even if it does give us this leg here, then I'm going to be looking for that bearish move to the down side there. So just to show you on the 1 hourly time frame here, this does not look complete. It appears to be wave 4 that is in play here, unless of course if you have a wave 5 as a truncation, this being your wave 1 here, wave 1 here is a leading diagonal, this being our wave 2, 3 here. So I wanted to see this one making this with one more leg to the upside, but very likely that we could be having this one here, a structure like this, one more leg up before the actual drop to the down side. But like I've said it, unless if you say there's a truncation here, then this start to give us this impulsively move. If it trades impulsively, come and trade at this territory of a wave 1, then that will be telling us that we are done and it's time for this drop to the down side. Brent crude oil, on the other hand, here we have been looking at this one to drop, but it has made this impulsively move up, as much as this is still very likely that we can have this as an expanding flat corrective structure here, and expecting that this should still continue with this drop to the down side here. But if it goes as far as taking these highs, then we're going to start to look at the possibility whether this is going to continue with that bullish move to the upside. I don't like to see these highs being taken out here. Right, just for the cryptocurrency, not the cryptocurrencies, but rather the indices, we should still see this one here dropping to the downside like we have been showing the past few weeks. Yes, we wanted to see this make a move to the upside, but after we got this one to be invalidating these lows here, we were started to look at this here as a three-wave move to a downside here, looking at this to be our connector, and expecting that this should drop. Just be mindful that there's nothing wrong with this here. These lows have been taken out. You can still get this one to come back and take these highs here before you can even get a move that is going to be related to this one here. So there's nothing wrong with this here. But obviously, if this bounces in a three-wave moves here before it get to around the 51.8 here, that will be meaning we are dropping from around this area here. But I would like to see a pullback here. That should be the same as well. Dow Jones, the structures are the same here, so I'm not going to waste your time. We're just looking at this one here to make a move to the down side. This being a three-wave move here, our connector here. So it either this can even make a structure like this. We have an expanding flat corrective structure before the actual drop, or alternatively, this is going to bounce in a three-wave moves here against this swing high and continue with this drop to the down side. But more bearish move to be seen on the indices across the board. S&P 500 will be the same as well. We are looking at this one to drop. It's just a matter of time whether this is going to be our connector here, this being the structure here, or this is going to be a three-wave move here. Three-wave move to a downside that we've seen here, this being our W, this being our wave X, and expecting a three-wave move to be our wave Y, something that will be related to this one. Or alternatively, this is our connector wave X here after these three-wave moves here, and this is going to be a bounce in a three-wave move against this swing high. Then we see this one here dropping for something that is related to this one here. Like I've said, the structures are the same. S&P DAX here. On the other hand, very likely that DAX here, if you look at this impulsively move to a downside, so it's a matter of whether this is an ending diagonal here, structure like this here, this being your A, B, C here, this being our ABC, and then we see this one making a move to the upside. But because the other indices are still expected to make a move to the downside, so it's a matter of whether this drop from here continues to this here before it complete the wave C, and then that move to the upside, or alternatively, this just a three-wave move to the downside here. Then we get something like this here, structure like this, and then from there this becomes your A here, your wave B not being done here. Then we get this wave C. That's the possibility that we have there on DAX. UK 100, still liking the idea for this one to make a move to the upside here. We have been looking at this here to be the structure to be done, but bear in mind, this being a three-wave move, our W, our wave X here, this to be our wave Y here. This looks complete structurally, but the other indices are still expected to give us this three-wave pump and then a drop. So very likely that instead of this being a WXY, we're going to have this as a W, wave X, wave Y here. This might bounce in a three-wave move, and then that being our X, and then we get this one to be our wave Z. Then this give us an 11 swing before the actual rally to the upside. That is purely based that the other indices should still drop. But other than that, structurally, this looks complete. There's nothing wrong with that move to the upside. Just that when you're looking at the indices, you look at them all being positively correlated. As for Nikki, on the other hand, still like the idea for this one to drop here. As much as we have been looking at this structure here on our weekly outlook, this should be a three-wave moves here. This should be our connector here, and expecting that this is going to drop in a three-wave move. It is possible. Structure, there's nothing wrong with that, but I also want you to take note of this structure here. This could have been ended, or this is going to be a start of a correction here. Three-wave move to a downside, three-wave move up here, and this is going to be a three-wave move to a downside instead of the correction starting from around this area here, where the relationship, this being a correction, would be too big for the wave count that we have. But obviously, you're not going to see that, but there's nothing wrong with that. That being a start of a correction, or the correction starting around this area here, that direction is still the same. We should still see this one making one more leg lower before a move to the upper side. As for Nifty, on the other hand, we have been looking at this one to have completed this wave 4 here. I'm going to show you on a lower time frame here. Structurally, I'm looking at this here to be done here. This being the structure. Not this is not a 4 hour here, the 1 hour chart. We were looking at this here to be a wave 1 here, this being a wave 2, wave 1 here, this to have been a wave 2 in a running flat here, wave 3, and this to have been an expanding flat corrective structure, wave 4, and we're liking the idea that this should make a move to the upside here. But if it bounces higher here in the 3-wave move and then come and break this here, then this will be too big. That will mean this is going to trade lower. Most of the time, you will see that Nikkei and Nifty, in terms of the movement, they will be correlated. So looking at Nikkei, we're expecting a drop here. So we're going to start to look at the possibility of this one to be a 3-wave move. This being our connector here is a 3-wave move. And then we expect to see this one to be a 3-wave move, something that is related to this one. But that's only if this expanding flat corrective structure gets invalidated. Then we can start to look at that possibility. All right, so that would be all, but I'm going to include the cryptocurrencies on this session. But as for Bitcoin, I'm just going to look at the 4 here. Bitcoin, we're still liking the idea for this one to drop. Remember that there is a video that we released over the week, during the week. I think it was on Thursday. We were looking at Bitcoin to drop. So we have been calling that Bitcoin, this is our wave 4 here. Now we are looking at this to have been our wave 1, wave 2 here, this being our wave 2 here, and we're looking at this to be our wave 1 in a lower degree. So whatever is happening here, we're looking at this to be a correction. Now the question whether this is done here, this is wave 1. Let me just do this neatly here. This being our wave 1 here, this to have been wave 2, and then we're looking at this to be our wave 1 in a lower degree. This being our wave 1 here, and we are looking at this here to be our wave 2. Would have been nice if we see this one giving us this one more leg here before a drop, but if it trades lower here, break these lows here, that will mean now wave 2 has ended here, and it's time for this bearish move to our downside to continue for our wave 3. But I'm still looking for more bearish move to our downside on Bitcoin. Ethereum, obviously the two here are positively correlated. The very same thing, we have been looking at this year to be our wave 4, and we are looking at this year to give us the 5-wave move to the downside here. This being wave 1 and wave 2 here. We're looking for the wave 3 and a 4 and the wave 5 on Ethereum. Now what we've got so far here is this to be wave 1 in a lower degree. Remember that this is wave 1 here. this being wave 2. Now we are looking at this here to be wave 1. Yeah, this being wave 1. This wave 2, it is very shallow. It would have been nice if this can still give us this leg to the upside and have this as a wave 2. But if it breaks here, then we're going to look at this here to be a 3 and a 4 in the wave 5. That should be completing the wave 3 in this yellow intermediate yellow degree here in terms of my colors. But what you need to be mindful here is this. Ethereum is almost at the equal legs here. Be mindful with this here. If it gets into the equal legs, I'm not going to be surprised if you start to see a reaction to the upside, and a break of these highs here will be meaning that we should see more bullish move to the up side. But for now, I'm liking the idea that this should keep on dropping to the down side. And Litecoin, on the other hand, still liking the idea for this one to drop here against this swing high here. I'm looking at this to have been a wave 1 and this to be a wave 2 here. Again, it would be nice if this can come around this area here before it can actually drop to the down side. And the last one of the cryptocurrencies will be not Litecoin, rather Ripple. Ripple weekly time frame. This started to break above this trend line here, and since then it has not closed back below. This is the trend line that I'm referring to here, so very likely that this might be starting to give us a move to the upside here. Close above this here on the weekly time frame, came back as a retest. Now this is starting to make this move here, so very likely that this might be a start of a move to the upside on Ripple. But because of the expectation that the Bitcoin still to drop, be mindful with this one here. There's nothing wrong with this. Check this high here and start to give us this here. But for now, because it's trading above this trend line, we are very likely that this might start to give us this move to the up side. All right, guys, from my side, that's all what I had to share with you. Right, so if you like our work, please do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channels. You can also leave your comments. We do value your inputs. Cheers, everybody, and have a good one. Bye-bye.